How to add users on Linux. Adding users to a Linux computer is a basic administration task. And there are several ways to achieve this. Each method has benefits and drawbacks. We explain 3 different techniques for you. A personal computer without a user doesn't really amount to much. Linux supports multiple users, whether they log in at the same time and share the computer's power, or sign in singly when they have exclusive use of the machine. Each person needs a unique user account. A user account encapsulates that user's work and provides privacy. It also allows control and governance to be applied to the account. Different users can have different capabilities according to their needs or their role or function by changing the attributes of their user account, like which groups they belong to. Whether you share your computer with family members or administer a multi-user installation for an organization. Creating user accounts is a fundamental administrative skill. Linux being Linux, you have several methods to choose from. We're going to step you through 2 command line methods and 1 GUI-based method, so that you can select the one you feel works best for you. The useradd command is the lowest level command used for adding users. Other commands act as friendlier front ends for the useradd command. This adds some convenience and makes the process easier. But the other commands don't do anything that you can't achieve with useradd and a little help from the password command. The useradd command has a lot of options. The ones you'll need to add a typical new user are shown below. Needless to say, you'll have to use sudo to add a user. The make home directory option. This creates a directory in the home directory with the same name as the new user account name. Gsambashare. The additional group option. This is optional. The new user is added to a group with the same name as their account name. The G option, note, capital G, adds the user to supplementary groups. The groups must already exist. We're also making the new user a member of the Sambashare group. Marik. The name of the new user account. This must be unique. It cannot already be in use for another user. This creates the new user account, creates their home directory, and populates it with some default hidden files. We can look into their home directory like this. Our new user will not be able to log in. We haven't created a password for them. It is possible to pass the password to the useradd command using its password option. But this is considered bad practice. Moreover, you must provide the password in its encrypted form. So it isn't as straightforward as it sounds. You're prompted for the password, then asked to enter it once more to verify it. This password must be communicated securely to the new user. It's advisable that they are prompted to change their password when they log in. This means they can choose their own password, and no one else will know it. We can see our new user account and compare it to an existing one by looking inside the etc. password file. X and X in this field means the user account password is encrypted and held in the etc. shadow file. Mary Quinn. This is the geckos field. It can hold a set of separated values of extra information. All we added was the full name of the user. Because we set their password to the expired condition, they'll be prompted to change it. They must re-enter their existing password. Once they type their new password and hit enter, they are asked to re-enter the password to verify it. Some housekeeping is performed and the usual documents, downloads, and other directories are created for them in their home directory. The geckos field can contain up to 5 separated pieces of information. These are rarely used, if any are populated at all. It is usually the first one, which holds the real-world name of the owner of this account. Sudo useradd s bin bash mc Mary Quinn operations 1555 6325555 5412 team leader Gsambashare Marik. If you don't have this information to hand when you create the account, it can be added or changed later using the chfn command. The adducer command wraps the creation of the account, its home directory, setting the password, and capturing the geckos field information into one interactive session. The adducer command was already present on our Ubuntu and Fedora test machines but had to be installed on Manjaro. It's in the Arch user repository, so you'll need to use an AUR helper such as Yay to install it. The default group for the user account is created, and the user account is added with that group as its default. The home directory is created and the hidden configuration files are copied into it. Either provide some information and hit enter to move to the next field, or just hit enter to skip a field. Finally, you're asked if the information you have provided is correct. Press the Y key and hit enter To complete the process, remember to set the password for the new account as expired, so that the new user is required to change it when they first log in. Open the System menu by clicking on the right-hand edge of the GNOME panel. Near the Power, Volume, and Network icons, the Settings application will open. Click on the Users entry in the sidebar. Then click on the Unlock button in the Users pane. Click this button. The Add User dialog appears. It contains a form that captures the details of the new user. Fill in the form with the details of the new user. If you want them to be able to use sudo, click the Administrator button. You can either set their password now or leave it to them to choose a password when they first log in. If you set a password, you'll have to remember to open a terminal window and use the password command to set it to the expired state. That'll force them to set their own password the first time they log in. That's a bit of a pain to have to go to the terminal when you're trying to use the GUI to accomplish the creation of the new user. If you click the Allow User to Set Their Own Password When They Next Log In radio button, the user is prompted for a new password when they try to log in. But the drawback here is that the first person who tries to use the new account can set the password. So anyone who knows the account has been created and who beats the genuine new user to trying to log in can take over the account. We selected the Allow User to Set Their Own Password When They Next Log In option. When the user tries to log in, they're prompted for a new password. But, unlike the sequence we saw earlier, they are not prompted for their current password, they don't have one. The adducer command makes life easier but doesn't allow you to enter the new user into additional groups. In most informal or domestic situations, adducer command probably gives you the best balance between capability and functionality. If you need to add the new user to an additional group, you can do that once they've been created, using the usermod command. Text source: howtogeek.com.